What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we're here with the treasure map versus Eustass Kid, which is debuting on April 10th. 24 hours from now, as of me recording this video, is going to be the treasure map Sugo Fest. So that's going to be debuting. I'll be streaming my pulls. I'm going to be doing just a little bit amount of pulls on that Sugo. But yeah, April 10th is the official start of the treasure map, and it goes until April 14th. So we're going to be doing the free-to-play, preparation video in this video today. I'm going to upload my Sugo Fest pulls the day after, and then the day after that, I'll upload my personal team. So stay tuned to the channel to see everything regarding this treasure map. And of course, when the treasure map goes live, which is going to be on a Sunday for me, which I should be able to do that, I will be streaming. So definitely look forward to that. So let's jump into it, and let's start breaking down the character first of all. This is a really, really weird treasure map unit, and I mean, there's already a lot of drama just circulating around this treasure map in general, just because of the way that the boosted list is kind of managed this time around, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But Eustass Kid is a strength fighter driven, so interesting to see Kid as a fighter type unit this time. Captain ability is 3.75 times attack to strength. You get -2 cooldown as well for like special reverse reduction by 2 turns, which is again a pretty useful effect to have actually. Any piece of utility within the captain effect of a unit is always going to be quite valuable to have. Now he's got a 12 turn max cooldown with expansion, and it does 100 times his attack in strength damage to only a single enemy, but then he changes tandem, recovery, and bomb slots and badly matching slots into matching. And when you launch the special, depending on what type of debuff is inflicted to your team, you get a different boost. So if there's any bind on your team, you actually get a 2 times attack boost for 1 turn. If there's despair on your team, you get a 1.75 orb boost for 1 turn. And if there's paralysis on your team, you get a 1.75 color affinity for 1 turn. So it's a little bit niche, but depending on the situation, you can get a really nice effect from him. And if you've got multiple debuffs like that, this unit could provide a lot of damage to your team just with 1 special activation. So again, as I said, very niche, but I don't really know how often this character is actually going to see play. He does resist special bind on himself by 5 turns, which is kind of interesting. His support effect is just stats. What does he do in Rumble? I actually haven't checked this out. Strength teammates get level 5 attack, level 2 HP. That's actually pretty good. 28 CT. Targets enemies in a medium range for 1.5 attack. All enemies for attack down level 5. All enemy speed down level 5. That's actually not bad. This unit, honestly, is not a terrible unit in Pipe Rumble. I mean, not bad at all. So that's the new unit. He's kind of okay. I don't know how often he's going to see play, but yeah, he's there. He's just kind of there. Nothing too crazy. But let's go ahead and jump all the way down to the treasure map crew to start breaking down each of these bosses right here. So the first boss we're going to be having a look at is Chopperamon. Chopperamon is the earliest boss. He's like really easy to take down. He doesn't really hit that hard. And looking at his quest guide, he's pretty straightforward once it actually loads, but he doesn't really do that much. The only debuff that you have to take into consideration is that he gives you 2 turns of special bind. This free-to-play Usopp right here removes those 2 turns of special bind, and then you're just running essentially the full free-to-play size Straw Hat team. Pretty typical from what we've seen over the past few treasure maps. Typically, there's one boss that's int you can just run this team against, and we have that once again here, which is fine. So nothing really too much else to say here. Pretty easy with the new Straw Hats. Moving on to the secondary boss, which is going to be Hyogoro. Hyogoro is a little bit more tricky. Wait, what's his typing again? Yeah, he's int. He's an int type character. But I think he's Dex actually. Doesn't he change into Dex? It says Dex int type change, so that's a little bit weird. But yeah, I believe he's Dex, so don't get that twisted. I'm pretty sure he is a Dex unit. For some reason, Jinbei is a recommended character here, which I actually have no idea why he's a recommended unit. But you can see 5 turns of despair is inflicted to your captain. So that's legit all you have to take into consideration. And in this team, we've got the Colosseum Inu. Now, this is also one of the things I wanted to talk about, is the fact that for some reason, like, all of the Colosseum units are a 1.2 times point booster, but Colosseum Inu, the only Colosseum unit for some reason on this boosted list, it's a 1.1 times point booster. It's like they realized, oh, this character is actually pretty good in this treasure map, let's make him less point boosted. It doesn't make any sense, and there's more than one case where this is going to be showing up in this treasure map video. But either way, the way that this team is kind of centered around is we have Inu obviously to get rid of that despair, and we're just basically relying on the treasure map Kaido on the left hand side there, where he gives himself a huge attack boost and a minor orb boost. So by using him with a matching slot, which we can get from Komurasaki, that's kind of how we're going to be getting around this boss here in this specific team. So again, there's a lot of different things you could adopt, but the only thing you have to note is that there's Despair. Make sure you get rid of that, and he will be a Dex boss on the final stage. So building a predominant strength team, while as well getting around the Despair. So using Sweet Commanders, for example, would be a really, really good option too if you have access to them. And I'd probably advise to use a Sweet Commander friend captain for this team. So that's what I would advise. But anyways, pretty easy team to get through. Now, the next two characters of the Battle Rush are a little bit more difficult. We've got Okiku here this time. Now, I think this is the example one where it's just kind of obscure because the recommended character suggests Pudding and it suggests Kizuna Kid. Couple things about this. The recommended character being this Pudding is a 1.1 times point boost to this treasure map, whereas on Japan, I believe they were like a 1.4 times point booster because the way that they've shuffled around the teams, it means that, this specific Pudding that came out with the treasure map was right before this treasure map. Because they've shuffled the order of things for global, we obviously had the Halloween stuff late January, early February, and then we had the treasure map in February, and then we had Jinbei, then we have this treasure map. It was actually the other way around, where it was supposed to be Jinbei first, then Pudding, and then this. So there must have been some sort of failure to convey this, but for some reason, it's a 1.1 times point booster instead. And then we've got Kid. Funny thing about him, he's not boosted at all, so that's strange. This Kid is not boosted on this treasure map at all, and they are suggesting him as a recommended character. So they copied it all from Japan, dumped it over to global, and for some reason changed the point boosting list without having a look at what the bosses actually do. So big problems there. But you can see with the final battle, one turn of special reverse, Pudding's captain effect can resist that, and also this Kizuna Kid can help you get around that too. 3 turns of increased defense, 3 turns of resilience, which is why they're suggesting Kid, and a delay immunity. So the way that we're getting around this is I am still going to be using Pudding as the captain because she's just the most ideal unit to use as the captain here. Now for this team, we've got the Neptune to help us get around the resilience, which is great. We have the Carrot to get around the increased defense and also gives us an attack boost. And Otama and Whitebeard are kind of just like filler units there. Pudding gives us a full board of slots once we use her special, which is quite good. But aside from that, yeah, nothing really else too crazy. You know, Pudding, Neptune, and Carrot, those 3 units are going to be very, very good. And once again, this Carrot is also another thing about this treasure map which doesn't make any sense. All the Clash characters that are boosted in this treasure map are at least 1.2 point boosters, but only one of them is 1.1 boosters instead, and it's this Carrot. I don't know why, makes 0 sense. I don't get it, man. It doesn't make any sense, man. I don't know why they're screwing out boosted lists like this. Anyway, this is a team that I'm suggesting that's a free-to-play team versus Okiku. Moving on to Kamazo, which is the final of the Battle Rush bosses. Kamazo here. It will have the quest guide. I believe he will be a Psy enemy on the final boss fight, just to note. And previously, where we used Pudding, Okiku was also Psy. Now, for some reason, they're suggesting Shanks here. Shanks doesn't have, like, any debuff removal or anything like that as to why he would even be here in the first place. It doesn't make any sense why Halloween Shanks is considered a recommended character. Does not make sense. Anyways, for Battle 5, the preemptive will change all your slots to Strength Dex Quick, 5 turns paralysis, 5 turn top row will be binded, and delay immunity. So the way that we're getting around this is we're using Okiku to unbind our captain, we're using Jinbei special to get rid of the paralysis, also gives our characters a color affinity boost, and then the double specials of both Carrot and Chopper gives us a full board of slots, it gives us an attack boost, all boost, whatever, and then the Crocodile is just kind of a filler unit here, because the boss will actually be a Psy unit, where you definitely need some powerful int characters. With all of these specials active here, it's pretty easy to kill this guy. This will do upwards of around 10 million plus damage, and that's without treasure map boosts, I believe, so it should be doing a pretty serious amount of damage. And if you can run a friend captain of another really powerful int unit, such as like Halloween Shanks or like Halloween Mihawk or Law, for example, and you can build a more predominant int team around that, that would be ideal. But the thing about it is all of the Halloween units were supposed to be boosted for this treasure map as well, like the rare recruit Halloween units, some more free-to-play units like the Crocodile and the Robin that came out with the Halloween celebration this year. None of them are here, so we're missing out on a lot of int damage that we would have otherwise, because we have 2 bosses here that are supposed to be Psy units, and we are missing on a lot of int units, so that obviously will cause a lot of problems for players. So yeah, you kind of have to find other different avenues to get your damage, and this is what I'm suggesting here for a free-to-play team. So now that we've done that, we can talk about the final boss team versus Eustass Kid. Now, Eustass Kid with his quest guide, he is a dex enemy on the final boss, and the Battle 4, which is the secondary boss, will go ahead and give you a full board of block orbs, and also give you 4 turns of burn, and 4 turns of Rainbow Shield damage reduction. Now, in order to get around that, we have Kamazo in the bottom left-hand corner here. His special removes burn and the Rainbow Shield, gives us an orb boost as well, which is great. And then we can use Shinobu to get a color affinity boost on that turn, and also carry the color affinity into the next room as well, which is great. And then also you can use the Orochi special if you wanted to do that as well. So that gives us an orb boost, an attack boost, and a color affinity boost, all with that one turn. Now, for the final boss, it is a little bit different, but you will need some more utility. So it says full board of block slots once again. Now, we're going to be going ahead and using the Kaido special, which would be our friend captain. I would highly advise to use friend captain Kaido here, versus Kaido, that is. His special will give you the tandem slots, give you an attack boost, and then you get 5 turns of attack down, so we have the Rumble Usopp to get around that, and the chain is going to be lowered. We got a huge chain coefficient reduction, so we have the Doflamingo and Treble unit here to help us give us a chain lock, so that's what I'm advising here as well. So we're going to be using Kaido and the Rumble Usopp on this stage. We have color affinity from the Shinobu and Nami unit carried into this room too, that you have the chain lock as well, so that should give us enough damage, but ensuring that we do run versus Kaido as our friend captain for this particular team in order to get the most out of it. So that's what I would advise in terms of free to play for this boss. And now moving on to the Intrusion battle boss, this time around we've got Raizo. Raizo is kind of interesting because his mini boss unit is a dex unit, and then Raizo himself is a psi unit, so you kind of want to run both strength and int characters in order to get around it. So you can see the preemptive, -10 cooldown to strength and int, and then the battle 2, which is against Kinemon, who is a dex enemy. He will change all your slots into tandem recovery. He gives you 5 turns of bind to your top row, 5 turns of blindness, and then 5 turns of special bind. Now, the most annoying thing about this is there's only like one boosted unit that's strength or int that gets around the 5 turns of special bind that you can actually use, and it's Rare Recruit King. So if you have Rare Recruit King, you want him for this fight. If you don't have him, you'll have to run a non-boosted unit that's strength or int that gets rid of the 5 turns of special bind, or you're gonna have to stall it out. It's just the way that it is. Unfortunately, our boosted list sucks. There's nothing much we can do about it. I mean, another unit that was supposed to be boosted that we don't have for this treasure map is Halloween Rare Recruit Buggy. So if you have that Halloween Rare Recruit Buggy, yes, you can still run that if you want. It's just the fact that, you know, he's not going to be a point booster, unlike the previous one on Japan, which he was. Now, the final boss is going to be giving you, again, recovery and tandem slots. You get 3 turns of a 1.1 chain lock, which is quite bad. Also, you're going to have a perfect barrier. You have to hit 1 perfect to break through his barrier for 3 turns, or for 2 turns instead. And then also 5 turns of damage threshold, right? So the way we're getting around this is, for this team, we are going to be using a friend captain Big Mom with this team right here. So what we're doing is, for the special bind removal, which is going to be definitely the biggest problem, is we're using the dual unit that just came out, the Akainu and Borsalino. Their switch effect will remove 1 turn of special bind and slot bind every single turn, so you'll just have to tank hits, because there's no other unit you can use that's even free to play that's a strength and an int character that gets around 5 turns of special bind. There just isn't, unless if you run other supports, and if you have rare recruit characters, obviously that's fine, but that's not what we're aiming to do in this video. We're building full free to play teams. So with this Akainu and Kizaru unit, you want to be switching with them every single turn, which gets rid of an additional turn of special bind every single turn. So it'll take like 2 to 3 turns in order to get around that. We have the Okiku, which gets around the bind, and will also give us an orb boost, which is quite good. And that's basically it. Then we're going to kill that stage. We can use the Shinobu to get color affinity on that stage, carry into the next room. And then obviously on the last room, we get given that really bad chain lock. So I'm going to be using this VV here. This treasure map VV has the increased cooldown, so their cooldown is significantly reduced at the start of the fight, and by the time we reach the final boss stage, we should be able to launch their special twice, which will be able to remove the chain locking effects that are inflicted to our team. And it also gives our crew an attack boost as well. It changes adjacent slots into matching, which is quite nice. Not into matching, but into recovery slots. So, you know, obviously with Big Mom, you want to get those recovery slots. And then we've got the Raizo, which will get rid of damage threshold, and it also gives a conditional boost against the enemy as well. So we've got Big Mom's boost, we've got a conditional boost, we've got the attack boost from Vivi. So because we get an attack boost from Vivi, you can use Big Mom's special on the stage prior, and if you hit your 3 perfects, you can get the orb boost on this stage. We've got color affinity from Shinobu and Nami. We've got the orb boost on the prior stage from the Okiku, the switch effect of Akainu Kizaru getting rid of that special bind, and that's kind of how we get around that. Now we do get inflicted with blindness as well, but the Colosseum Okiku in the bottom corner actually has a crewmate effect that resists 5 turns of blindness, which is great. So no problems there at all. And those are the teams that I'm suggesting in terms of free-to-play. It's just such a shame that our boosted list is as bad as what it is, because we're just missing out on a lot of stuff. Like, as I said before, you know, for some reason, these Fortnite units, and then you've got, like, even Halloween Rebecca is here for some reason. Halloween Rebecca is here, but none of the Rev recruits from the previous batch were. You've got the Raid Carrot and Coliseum Dogstorm for some reason are here in the 1.1 list, when they realistically should be here in the 1.2 times point booster list. Don't understand that. And for some reason, Halloween Pudding is also here. You can see at the very top there, Halloween Pudding should be a 1.2, at very minimum 1.2 point booster, and she's not that. And not Coliseum, but Kizuna Kid is not here either. So there's just lots of weird changes to this treasure map, but either way, that's going to end up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and as I said, tomorrow I'm going to be doing my treasure map Sugo Fest pulls. I only just want to get the lowest point booster. That's all I really care about, so that's what we'll be doing tomorrow, and if we get the additional ones along the way, that's obviously going to be a really significant help. And then the day after that, I'll give you guys my personal teams that I'm using versus this treasure map as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.